What's up? Thursday, November 30th. Central. What? December tomorrow. Christmas season officially. I wouldn't mind people playing some Christmas music tomorrow if you get excited. First day of December.
You're 100% allowed.
Yeah.
That's allowed.
My roommate in college hated the Counting Crows Long December. So December 1st, I had every contact that I had text him a different lyric to the song. 1 year. That was an all-timer.
So
he goes, dude, I'm
Moscow
getting
bits was always a thing.
always a thing. He goes, dude, I'm getting numbers. I don't even know who the fuck these people are.
That's like us on. Oh, what happened this year, by the way? No good
Long
things?
December. My approval rating's still down. And nobody really likes the group text. And group texts go two ways. Maybe add me to group text.
No, I think Dukes tweeted it.
I think Jack tweeted it or whatever.
Mike's off.
Some people like it, but hold on.
No. How many shows am I on with you?
2.
Would you consider me a friend?
Yes. But my approval rating is still down.
Would you? You've never put me in a group chat. And
Here's why.
And I texted you Happy Thanksgiving, and I got nothing back.
Oh.
That probably was.
Oh.
Wow.
No, that's not true. That's
bad.
That's awful.
That's
Hold on,
bad.
can't.
Also, this guy was like having your back for like your argument about stealing his toothbrushes. That's how in Rico Bosco's world he is.
I have
You
all.
text me Happy Thanksgiving.
You want me to show you the proof?
Oh, maybe is Dukes lying?
Nope.
Thursday, November 23rd, 6:52. Tell Rico to unblock me. I'll buy something.
Nope,
I said,
look.
give me 20.
Wait. Look at the Healthy Debate group chat.
$20?
Oh,
Look at the Healthy Debate group chat.
Who's in that group chat? You?
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Likewise, King. Oh, you did say Happy Thanksgiving.
Jesus Christ.
But still, no group chat. No group chat. I had to reach
What's the
out
hell
first.
the debate group chat? Is it you, Jet Ski?
Dukes
Nico?
will probably never be added to a group chat because his contact is still intern Dukes in the phone, not Dukes Barstool.
But do you get, like, that doesn't do you any good. That makes it seem more disrespectful.
Yeah, but I got to sort you by Barstool. Anyway, let me tell you what some group chats are fire, but the real fire is Fireball. We're excited to have Fireball as a presenting sponsor of Pick Central. Football season is the best time, but inevitably you see us find some way to get it ruined, whether that's our team getting beat, losing every bet, or getting crushed in fantasy. Fireball is here to help you say F it and keep Fireball season as incredible as it should be. The Fireball 50-milliliter shooters are perfect to ignite a pregame, tailgate, or game watch, plus no shot glass needed. Just crack it and knock it back. Fireball's iconic cinnamon flavor tastes fire and goes down easy, making it the ultimate crowd pleaser. That's why it's the #1 shot in the U.S. and takes any event to the next level, especially the SEC championship. Ignite your fandom with an ice-cold shot of Fireball and join Old Row at their tailgate in Atlanta to kick off the SEC championship game with Fireball December 2nd. Thank you to Fireball. Yeah, these shooters are perfect for a tailgate, literally. Maybe you get a few into the stadium, especially with a puffy coat. So shout out Fireball. What do you mean?
No, it's a good idea.
The way you delivered that was very funny. It's like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on.
puffy coat.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Thursday Night Football tonight. Cowboys, Seahawks. Am I still crazy? So I know the Eagles pulled out that win against the Bills. The Eagles have the Chiefs this week. No. Sorry. Eagles already had the Chiefs. That's what it was. Eagles stole that win against the Chiefs. Who do the Eagles have this week? 49ers. Am I crazy to think that the Cowboys can still steal this NFC East?
No, you're not crazy.
I actually think
And
that.
You might be crazy, but not about that.
I actually don't.
Yeah.
I actually, I'm a huge hater of the Cowboys, obviously. But Dak Prescott, if he had a different name, he'd be the MVP favorite right now. His stats are absolutely insane. No one's talking about it. I don't care who he's played. I don't care if he beats up on bad teams. That's just the schedule they're playing. Also, they play the same schedule as the Eagles, don't they? It's just in a different, a couple different teams.
Couple different teams.
Different
It's
teams.
based
But they're
on
playing
where,
the same,
where each one of them finished.
Yeah, they're playing around the same fucking schedule where they're end up playing some hard teams. Like his stats, if we can even look at, someone could pull up Dak Prescott's stats.
I'm looking at him right now.
What say it?
Yeah, he has 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, nearly 3,000 yards, and only 11 games.
I mean, that's MVP race like he should be.
70% completion rating?
Yeah, his odds aren't even, he's not even top 3, I believe. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. But, I just think that the Cowboys are actually good this year.
I do as well. I
Not the
think
fraud
if the
Cowboys.
Eagles fuck around or not get careful, the Cowboys could steal that division.
They play each other next week. So
Yeah, that was part of my point.
Yeah.
And the first game,
In Dallas.
the Cowboys kind of mismanaged that as well down the stretch in that game.
Yeah.
Didn't they go for 2 at 9 or something like that?
You-
Or didn't take the
It was something.
It was enough
I forget
time, and they
exactly
didn't
what it was.
score. It was a 2-score. They went for it. Like I say, cut it down to the 1 possession, whatever they were doing. But the Cowboys can play with the Eagles. There's this misconception, or there's this narrative that the Cowboys only beat bad teams. Yeah, but they're playing close against the good teams too. So it's like, what do you?
Well, not all of them.
40, listen,
Niners beat
49ers
shit.
smashed them on a Sunday night,
Mm.
which is accurate. But they played tight with the Eagles. I'm trying to think of who else they played.
They lost to the Cardinals.
I think the Cowboys are a very spunky wild card team.
But they're also like.
I also think it probably might not be the worst thing in the world if the Cowboys don't win the division, because then they're sitting there playing the sacrificial lamb out of the fucking South.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of like,
But
but then you
also-
got to go on the road. So it's
When
like,
people are like they beat shitty teams, okay, they beat the Commanders 45-10.
yes, they have been smashing teams.
Panthers 33-10. Giants 49-17. Rams 43-20. Like they're beating teams.
They have not beaten a team with a winning record.
Yeah, that's and what? So it's 3.
Yeah, but that
three
tells
losses?
me that they're not going to slip up against shitbag teams.
They're playing a team with a winning record tonight.
And I think they smoked them.
I don't.
I think they smoked.
I think it's close, and I think it's a Thursday night game's gonna be low scoring. That 9 is a huge number. I'm on the Seahawks tonight just because I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. I'm not saying the Seahawks are gonna win.
Oh, hand up, Clemmer. Is this the most points you've ever taken with an underdog before?
No, Phil.
I was a serious question.
No.
I actually don't think he was trolling there.
No.
I took
in the
I took
NFL,
a
it might
12-point dog last week.
Okay.
What did you take?
Forget. But I know.
Raiders?
Yeah.
The Raiders were 11.
I forget. I know. I've taken a
Okay.
couple big dogs this year.
Okay.
Regardless, I truly I have almost too strong of a feeling. I think the Cowboys absolutely smoked them. I think the Seahawks are like not that good at all. I think that I don't think Geno's completely healthy still, and Kenneth Walker's out.
Cowboys defense can fuck that up.
Cowboys defense is like, I mean that what's his name has more touchdowns than some really good wide receivers this year. What's his name? The guy who keeps getting the pick sixes.
Oh yes, I know exactly what you're talking. Right.
Yeah, his name
Yeah,
right now.
6 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
something crazy. Like
As many rushing touchdowns as Kenneth Walker has, by the way.
yeah. It's like I don't know. I just think that the Cowboys are going to smoke them today. And
Yeah.
I think the line also shows you that, where it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
why is a 6-5 Seahawks team? You would think maybe 7, 6,
I know.
9.5, 8.5.
On a Thursday night game.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And at home, the Cowboys just seem better. They do.
Yeah. Is it kind of weird that I know now everyone has to play the Thursday night games. That's why they get this deal. That's why they get the TV money. But like name brands like the Cowboys and the Patriots when they were still like, good, or the Chiefs, does it still kind of does it sit right with you, or is it kind of still weird to see the fact that those name brands lose a game on a Sunday and have to play a Thursday night home game?
Because they're like high profile teams.
Yeah. Like it's what I'm saying is obviously everyone has to make those sacrifices, but it still is kind of weird to me that the Cowboys get moved to a Thursday night home game. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think they want. It's probably a deal they probably made. The Cowboys are the biggest ratings team of all of them.
Yeah.
So they're probably like, hey, you got to give us one of those. You got to give me a Cowboys game. You have to.
Yeah. No, they're at the mercy of the NFL.
Right.
But it always still is weird to me that.
I always wonder what
Maybe it's 'cause
backdoor
I-
deals are happening with the schedule.
Yeah, maybe it's because we grew up, I guess, watching like the inception of this Thursday night football, and I remember that Cowboys Packers game when they were both like 9-1, 10-1 in like 2007, I want to say, and that was like an isolated game. That was so crazy. I still say this all the time. That was still so crazy to me that nobody, like the NFL Network at that point, nobody was dying to like get it.
No.
I vividly remember that. We were calling places up and being like, do you have the NFL Network? Like certain bars, this and that. A buddy of mine was an hour away in college and had it in his house. He had left our school and we were still in touch with him. He had the satellite dish, or he had DirecTV back then. And it was like, all right, we'll go up to his house, bring stuff up, drive back, because you move your night around it. But it was like, it wasn't easy finding that shit.
NFL Network did it perfectly. They have the games on Thursday nights, the NFL Network, and then when the games became profitable, they sold it for $1 billion to Amazon. They did it, and then by then it's NFL Network's in everybody's home. Yeah. So they won on both. The NFL does everything right with that shit. They really do.
When did it start, Phil, that they had a game basically every week of Thursday Night Football?
Pretty recent.
Yeah.
I want to say like 2014-ish.
Yeah.
Remember, it used to only be like 8 games, 8 Thursdays a year or something for a while?
Yeah,
After Thanksgiving. And by the way, just a reminder, both the Seahawks and Cowboys played on Thanksgiving like a week ago. So it's only a week's rest on Thursday night for them. It's not they played Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's more of the fact that the Cowboys – actually, that's even crazy. Well, the Cowboys, you knew were going to get the Thursday night.
Right.
But after Thanksgiving, having another –
I
feel like they always get
that is strange.
I feel like they always get that Thursday night game after Thanksgiving. Though.
Do they? I don't.
It's still.
You might be right. I don't. It doesn't ring with me.
Still odd to me to have the Cowboys have a Thursday night home game. Maybe that's an old man type thing or whatever. But it just.
I think the Seahawks got smoked at home against the 49ers. The 49ers are obviously a really good team, but they weren't even close in that game.
When you the Cowboys against the Niners though.
Huh? No. I know. But the Cowboys at home are also undefeated.
Cowboys are undefeated.
They have not lost at home. I just truly think they're going to – I don't know why. I think they're going to beat the shit out of them.
Where do you guys sit with the over-under at 47.5? I'd take the under here.
I think I'd rather take the Cowboys team total than the over.
I think it depends. Oh, Seahawks have the throwbacks tonight? That's sick.
I like those.
I think it depends on how late or how early you've been riding these primetime unders, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you were one of those guys who just held your nose all year and you're up, 36-1 in fucking unders on primetime, you take the under again. Because if you lose the next 12, you're then still sitting at 36. I'm exaggerating the numbers.
Right.
But I don't think you jump in. If you jumped in week 2, week 3, you're okay. I don't think you can jump in now.
I jump in, I jump out. I jump in and jump out.
Oh, you're an idiot.
I'm an idiot then. I'm taking the under.
Yeah, no, you can't be jumping in and jumping out.
You're more likely to lose. Then you're just flipping a coin at that point.
That's like
when
when
the plan or you don't.
What was it? When the Indians had a 20 they were the Indians at that time. What was it, like a 19-game winning streak or a winning streak?
Yeah.
It's like if you get in on 11, you're an asshole, I feel like.
You won 8 in a row.
No, I know, but it's like, okay, if you get in like 15, you won 4. It's just like you'd be scared to be the person to.
Yeah.
I tried to do it off matchups, and I think this line is high at 47. And plus, I have been on unders all year, and they have been paying off for me. So that is one thing I've been pretty consistent with. I think I've been taking unders like 4-1. It's been, as opposed to overs, it's been paying off.
The Seahawks on paper are like, their wide receiver group is, I think Lockett's getting a little old, but Metcalf and Jigba and him is like, should be a deadly and Jigba has been getting a lot more looks and has been getting a little better, but I just don't know, is like, the Seahawks okay with Geno Smith being their quarterback?
12 touchdowns.
Do you think the Seahawks stumbled into the car's not giving me many problems right now?
Yes.
So, I don't have to go to the mechanic or I don't have to go look at that lease. We're okay. And they're just waiting for that
check engine light to come on?
Yeah, it's
on.
Or it's a bad body and they just patched it up to ride. I don't think Geno's the guy, but I think he's enough of that thing where you're driving to work every day and having no problems.
Where it's
you don't have a good body of a car. Geno Smith's not the fucking answer.
No.
But that's how it works in the NFL. A lot of these teams will just take what's working because we've seen so many bad quarterbacks.
You guys were there last year with Daniel Jones. I mean, he was fine. It's a fine car, but it's not a nice car. It's not a good car.
Nah, I think that's different. I mean, the team was doing well. They win a playoff game. I'm saying sustained success with. So that would have been a good example if they had Daniel Jones again this year and next year. Geno Smith, they're still on Geno Smith.
Eventually, that car's going to break down. It was
100%.
happened with the Giants, 100%. And I think the Seahawks, like Marty's point, it's kind of a ticking time bomb. I mean, your point too is how many more miles can you get out of this?
Yes, I agree. I just don't think it's.
He's not as good as he was last year. We all agree with that, right?
Yeah. In terms of props tonight or what you like, is Dak 1.5?
Yeah.
For passing touchdowns?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Is it heavily juiced? I'm all in on that.
I'm looking right now. Yes, minus 230.
Oh my God. Can I get over 2.5? Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Over 2.5 plus 180.
You think he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns?
I do think the Cowboys beat bad teams.
If they get off to a
I'll
big
take my
lead, though, they're
chance.
just going to run it all the time.
They don't like Pollard hasn't been like.
Plus 200 too.
I don't think he's been that great this year. I don't know if I have.
I'm gonna take the. I like that. I'm on Dak with the 2.5 pass.
Hey Phil, I know you don't like the you. I was talking about Dak, that he is 4th in the MVP race and has better stats.
If anybody
than-
had Dak stats but him, he'd be the leader for MVP.
I said that when you were out of the room, so
Yeah.
I agree with you because I actually don't like Dak, but I can acknowledge when he's fucking been
Yeah,
unbelievable.
He's a stat patter.
Is there?
But is he?
Yes.
I
Like-
kind of like that take too.
I don't hate the
He
take.
runs up the score. I mean, I'm calling it for what it is.
He also,
yeah.
especially against bad teams, but like you
Yeah.
said, like,
Yeah, but I guess that's also like good for him. Like
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Well, all right. So,
3,000 yards.
but
and
he's got
20
an
how many
ability.
touchdowns?
He's got an ability now to change the narrative that
Yes.
that he's a bully and beats up on bad teams, where he goes and beats tough teams.
Yeah.
but the Seahawks.
Down the stretch, which may win them the division. He's got the Seahawks tonight. Pesky in a primetime
Not a
game.
good team.
All
You can't call them not a
pesky.
good team
I
though. Like,
didn't say
I don't
good
think
team.
they're good. I think
didn't
they're
say good
Not
team.
a bad team
I
to
didn't
either,
say
Phil.
good team. I said
but I don't-
pesky.
I think
in a
they're-
standalone game, Phil.
Okay.
Any other NFL games going on tonight that they're not watching?
I don't know.
I think they're a mid team.
Eagles
They're a
next
mediocre
Sunday.
team.
At Bills the Sunday after that. At the Dolphins Christmas Eve.
that gets rough.
At the Lions on the 30th. What do you mean it gets rough? It actually gets good if you're looking at an MVP case. And a guy who's trying to win that division. You're telling me he's already in the discussion for MVP. He puts up good stats and leads his team from right now to wild card to division. You don't think he can win the MVP?
I think it's more like it goes the other way, though, isn't it? Where the Cowboys start dropping some games, those tough
Yeah.
teams.
Well, it depends though. I think he's saying that this is where he can show that
He
he's.
can, yeah, but that's a tough.
Of course, it's tough.
And he, like I said, he
That's what
hasn't
MVP
beat a
does.
team with a winning record.
That's
this
what the
year.
MVP. That's not like he's played what.
I just want for the record.
I know.
He laid a situation where I said, yeah, there's a potential where he wins games, and he also said there's a potential where he loses.
I understand.
You know what? I'm going to have Marty throw in a third possibility.
Could they tie?
They could tie. So, as you know, the gambling show here, we do want on record the Cowboys now could win all those games, lose all those games, or tie all those games. But
This is a gambling show, Rico. You're right. So we have to talk about likelihoods.
having known the NFL like I do, I think it's going to be some combo of that. I think they're going to win some, lose some, maybe tie some.
You have confidence they're going to win a lot of those games against good teams. That's what I'm talking about.
I do.
I still think they're a very good team. Dude, I don't know what they're going to do against these games.
I think they
I'm
are.
laying out the possibility that anybody, like you look at it like at the Heisman, who's got the best like big time games? Dak Prescott has the big time games right
Yes.
now in the Heisman.
And you're saying that
And I do think the Cowboys are still very good.
They haven't
And the
beat
Eagles
anyone
have
with
a murderer's row as well.
a winning record. They've played 2 teams with a winning record.
Yeah.
It's not technically like, all right, they're 0-2 in teams. It's not like
But here-
crazy.
To the other point, they're in this discussion against the world-beating Eagles. Still, the Eagles fucking can't miss. They're the best team in the NFL right now. Great record.
Yeah, no.
They're up there. Can't miss. The Cowboys are still in that discussion because they didn't go lose to any of the
I don't even think the Eagles are the best team in the NFL.
Well, I'm just.
I get it,
best
but they're
record.
not.
But
yeah, best record, yeah.
The Cowboys are in that discussion because they didn't go drop a game to the fucking Commanders
Bosco.
or the Cardinals.
Bosco, the game that matters is the Eagles because
Yes.
if you lose that game, your MVP case
Yes.
is done.
Oh,
Because you
agreed. I
cannot
totally
go
get
0-2
it. Right.
versus Jalen Hurts and say you're MVP.
I totally get it. The Eagles the Eagles could lose fucking 3 in a row.
They could also win 3 in a row.
They could
Okay.
tie 3 in a row. Could tie. Yeah, I don't know. I do think the Cowboys are legit, and I think teams eventually kind of break through. I think it might click for Dak. You know, I do. So
I feel like we run into this every year. Every year the Cowboys are 8-3, and I fall for it every year. This year I'm not going to fall for it because every year I feel like this is where we are, and I'm like, oh, the Cowboys are good, and they lose in the first, second round. They lose 3 of the last 5 games, and this is what the Cowboys do.
well, I do think the difference. I mean, we've seen it with the Bills. The difference why the Bills haven't gone to the Super Bowl is you do have to have home field. Going into Arrowhead is a nightmare.
Yeah.
I do think that's going to be the Cowboys' kryptonite. Like, you got to get those home games. So I'm not going to play anything in terms of total. I like rooting for the players. I'll take Dak over the 2.5 for plus 200. What do you like tonight?
I like Dak, and I like over receptions for Brandon Cooks. I think Brandon Cooks is starting to get going.
What's the line on it? Do you know?
I think it was. I could be wrong. I thought it was 5.
That's an interesting, because Brandon Cooks has been catching a lot of passes.
Yes, and obviously it's
Receptions right here. Brandon Cooks 3.5.
3.5.
Ooh, I like that.
Love that. Love that.
Did you see
He
this?
had 9 last week.
I'm riding with you, Marty. Let's go.
Let's go.
I might like Geno Smith under. You think they're going to let Geno Smith throw the ball over 35 times? If he's
That's all.
banged up?
I guess it depends on if they're down. That's where I get scared because I think they're going to be down, so they might be throwing a lot.
Yeah.
But 35's a ton.
Well, also, if you think the Cowboys are going to be up, that means like a sustained drive.
Yeah.
Seahawks don't have the ball as much.
Kenneth Walker is out though too. So if they, what's his name? Charbonnet.
Oh, from UCLA?
Zach Charbonnet from
Charbonnet.
University
UCLA?
of Michigan, right?
I don't know where he's from.
What am I thinking?
Is he Michigan or am I dumb?
I don't know.
The running back from UCLA last year was filthy. And I liked him a lot.
Phil's typing.
Zach Charbonnet, huh?
Where's he from?
He played college football at Michigan and UCLA, so we're both right.
Oh, look at the boys being right.
All right.
He had great stats last year, right?
In college. Yeah, he was taken in the second round.
Yeah, he's filthy. And he was behind Walker.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been getting a lot of reps for the Seahawks.
Recently he has because
I think he's very
Walker's been hurt.
Very good. I think he could muck things up tonight. I think they'll you'd be surprised what you see out of him.
No, I've seen him. He's pretty good.
4.6 yards a carry.
I like him a lot. So yeah, I would also play that. The under in Geno Smith's passing attempts. Anybody for a touchdown? We don't have Ev today. Anybody feel the touchdown?
I don't. I looked through this, and I didn't see anything. I don't have a real feel for this game. I just think it's going to be low scoring.
I like Tyler Lockett to get a touchdown tonight.
Okay. We'll steal that on Pick Central.
Plus 230.
Debate. We'll give that to you.
Yep.
Yeah. I it's good to kind of. I mean, listen. It's a 9-point spread. It's not like the best game,
Jake Ferguson.
but it's good to have a game that you're kind of excited about in prime time because I think Sunday's schedule, man, is. I know it's sacrilegious.
But there's an amazing game though. So that's where I'm like, okay, fine, I got one.
Not at the 1 o'clock slate.
I know 4 o'clock is.
Yeah.
I mean, Eagles 49ers is like.
I said it.
Literally.
I really do think you could go shopping Sunday and have no issues. Those games stink.
This is a good Thursday. I think this is a decent Thursday night game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have two playoff teams right now.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So that's where it's at. Dion named, was it Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to get you guys' take on this because everyone's freaking out. It's like, oh, Dion went 4-8, and that was my first reaction as well. But who's the last 4-8 coach we're talking about this much?
No, I agree with that. But
Seriously, who's anyone like he? Also, the team sucked. They were a 1-win team last year.
So is Northwestern, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm.
they're
But that's what
going-
I'm saying. Who's talking about them?
But that's
So-
a cult of personality thing, though. That should be Sportsman of the Year.
My take on the whole thing was this decision was made months ago.
That's also
you have
true,
to make-
too.
You have to make it when
You have to make it a ton.
Then all of
And
a sudden you have to tell Dion, right? This is my grasp of it. You had to tell Dion, like, we're gonna put you as a Sportsman of the Year on the cover of Sports Illustrated. That could have been 2 months ago. He could be telling recruits this. He could be getting that word out there. Whatever. How do you just take that away? All things considered. Everything he represents, how do you just take that away? Sports Illustrated would have gotten backlash no matter what. Jamil Hill, everything, if they took that away from him.
I think this is
I-
better
you know
for
what I'm
sports.
saying?
I also think this is better for Sports Illustrated because one, whoever cared about who's a sports person of the year, Sports
It
Illustrated.
used to be a big deal.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying now, but now we're talking about
how
it.
do they define the award? Is it a sportsmanship award?
It's based on a number of different things. So it's mostly based on like who was the athlete of the year. Like in '88 when the Dodgers won, Earl Hershiser got it because he was the guy.
All right.
So and it also has to do with like how you are kind of off the field stuff too. It's kind of a
Okay,
I
so
think
then-
it's also
your
how you
impact off the
impact the league and off the
Okay,
field.
but to that off the field stuff, he's running through offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators in terms of like there's some beef there with how he's managing his locker room.
I don't know about that.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't know.
There's definitely he removed an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator.
I know the OC is probably going to go coach at San Diego State.
Didn't he remove somebody from their duties though mid-season? Dion, why am I don't that story's not Crazy.
No, I'm not. I believe you. I just don't know. I can't.
You remove somebody or there was the fight at Colorado State where it was like super chippy. Like I'm not being like,
But also,
they're also
Yes, you're right. The assistant coach who recently was stripped of his play calling duties by Dion Sanders has landed a new job.
but I don't think that's crazy.
Pretty normal.
I think because they sucked, so he just took them away. I think that's like everyone that happens in the NFL all the time.
okay.
I do think it's pretty weird. Like I think the one bright spot in Colorado was their offense. I mean, obviously, slippery slope. Shador got injured or whatever. It does seem a little, my son, the first-round quarterback, and removing the offensive coordinator. I'm not implying anything.
He's not gonna. He's not gonna.
Did Shador say, "I don't want this guy calling plays anymore"?
I just think that
maybe because it's a good playoff, and maybe because there's a few good stories with well, I shouldn't say good stories, but like captivating stories with the Michigan-Ohio State thing, and the playoff drama. And we haven't really had many like crazy upsets, but it has been, I feel like, a good college football season. It's been a while since we talked about fucking Dion.
But it was the first 4 weeks that no one stopped talking about him. That's what I'm saying.
But
it was like almost.
College football's a long season, man. 4 weeks, that's a while ago. That you were still wearing fucking shorts.
But also, Dukes.
The first 4 weeks
was
of the
also
season is Labor Day, September 9th, 16th, and 20th.
We're probably talking about him first 5 weeks of the season. And one, Dukes is right. I think they have to make this decision. And two, who's else was the biggest person in sports this year?
That's the other. So just for stake.
I would have said Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Because
You could say that way.
dated Taylor Swift.
He won the Super Bowl.
saying-
He won the Super Bowl in January.
What are you
Or
talking about?
February.
It's this year.
No, but it's this year.
He won the Super
He
Bowl.
won the Super Bowl.
He's
I don't.
No,
I don't think
I'm-
that they.
no, let me-
potentially moving to the best tight end of all time. He's in that discussion. He's got the #1 podcast. Like, think about. I'm not simping for the guy, but think about
A
all the
little
things
bit
you're
you are.
saying. Who's talking about? Everyone's talking about Travis Kelce.
Kelce makes
Did
so
you
much
get
more
Band-Aid?
sense than Dion.
Dion got talked about for
but
4 weeks
for sports.
and then in April when he was, bring your Louis, this, that.
For
Like,
sports, we talked about him.
Last year was Stephen Curry won. The year before that, it was Tom Brady. Like that's the
Yeah.
kind of people that
Winning-
usually win. Like never like a 4.
Yeah, but I also I think you guys are like that's not. We're talking about like that was 1 month of the 1 month of the year of Travis Kelce getting that. Like I feel like
But he also won the Super Bowl that same year.
I just also.
he's had these podcasts.
I get it. You're right. I'm wrong about that. Yes, you're right. But I also don't think. I don't know. I think that Dion was more of like a phenomenon of the entire sport than just Travis Kelce was. I do.
I think that also.
I think the 4 weeks that people talked about Dion looks like a blip on the radar compared to the first 4 weeks when the rumors of them dating hit the world. I mean, that was everywhere.
But that's not sports. That's where I'm getting
but
at.
sometimes the guy
I get what you mean.
sports transcending to the other side makes sports that much more popular.
Yeah. No, I get
So-
get both sides. I really do.
I have a hard time like highlighting a guy. They went 4-8, and they started. What did they start? 3-1,
3-0.
3-0. So
They're
they really
just saying
went
it's
1
because they went from a really dog shit team to being ranked, and then they fell off bad.
Is it also, Marty, you don't want Travis Kelce because it's kind of like when the Grammys and the Oscars come out and there's like those early songs or early movies and you're just like, whoa, that should have been like last year. It's almost like you're not even thinking about
Right.
it as like the
Yeah, like I'm
Right,
thinking about
yeah.
I'm thinking
it's
about
almost like
him
you're thinking about Travis Kelce
this year.
drop passes on
Yeah.
to lose
Yeah,
your bet.
recency
You're like,
bias.
fuck
Yeah,
that guy.
no,
a real
100%.
thing.
100% I am.
Yeah.
I also would have given the award to Zach Gallen, but that's just me.
He deserves it more than
Wait,
Dion.
Everyone give
That's
out.
just
Everyone
not
give out your
true.
sport.
He
who
went to the World
deserved it.
Series.
That's
Your
just
winner.
not true.
Dion with 4-8. What are we doing? It's
You're
crazy.
telling come
It's been a
on.
while. Dude.
You're gonna
I
tell
would
me
not have given it to Zach Gallen. Don't get me wrong.
You're telling
They haven't even been in-
You're telling me that Zach Gallen deserved more than Dion Sanders. I cannot do this show anymore.
No,
I
I mean,
can't.
Zach-
I'll stand by it.
That's crazy.
not.
You're
Who
kidding.
had a better year?
You're not kidding.
Who had a better year?
Dion Sanders did because you know how much money he brought to that fucking brought to that school. How much?
Is that what we're doing? Is that how we're doing it now?
Yes, that's what happens with this.
That's almost
award,
a
though.
testament to
You know
how
who should win? The
bad-
guy who invented uniform patches.
What?
Uniform patches bring so much money to the sport. Then that guy should be the sportsman of the year.
Stupid.
That's what we're doing now, I guess.
thing in the
We're just
world.
gonna
It's almost
count
absurd.
dollars.
Colorado football. When's the fucking last time anyone's talked about Colorado football? Tell me.
They've won a championship, haven't they? Like 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Yes, but I think that's the point. Is like
That's
with
the point.
in the NIL era, to bring in the amount of money that they have, like they were like, we're basically.
When's the last time
banking
the
on
Diamondbacks
you
won the World
bringing
Series?
the money? They were banking on Dion to bring in
No
the
one's still there. The
have
Diamondbacks
NIL
next
people.
year are offering a package for $250 for season tickets for every home game. What does that do?
It's not great.
Exactly.
I'm not saying Zach Allen should win
Great deal,
Sportsman
though.
of the
We should
Year.
Buy them and just go to 2 games. It's worth it.
I'm not saying that Zach Allen should be Sportsman of the Year. It probably should. And Travis Kelce's a great answer.
Travis Kelce's a very good answer.
But we kind of like you get what I'm saying with that.
I get it, but I'm also just playing devil's advocate of Dion. You can't shit on a story that happened. It happened,
Right.
and we all were like, okay, well, how many more weeks are we gonna talk about Dion?
Yeah, but he didn't.
It was
You know,
happening,
it wasn't. He had some issues over there. Like he's got.
He took over a team with
Yeah.
1 win. Like, and I'm not saying he deserves it. I get why a 4-8 coach should.
Here, the weird thing to me is the media fucking hated Dion. I was surprised they gave him the award. That's kind of a shock to me. Because even when they were like doing well, people keep being like, "This ain't gonna last," or "Watched it." Like the minute. So I was surprised Sports Illustrated would want to give it to him.
I agree, Rico. Everyone who usually wins are like media-friendly people, like LeBron James, Drew Brees, Derek Jeter, Brett Favre. Like Dwayne Wade.
I mean, LeBron had a good case for Sportsman of the Year,
No,
too.
somebody said Jokic. They would never. I don't think they'd ever give the award to him.
Yeah, he's a little boring.
He deserves it more than Dion. He deserves it more than Zach Allen.
Do you think LeBron deserved it more than him?
No, they didn't. They didn't win.
They were in the conference finals in year 20.
Usually, you have to win. Like historically, for SI Sportsman of the Year.
But
Usually.
Dion won 4 games.
No, win a championship.
I do agree that it's more than just like actual on the field stuff. That's why I think Travis Kelce is the winner.
That's a way more fair answer to me. Where like the
Because if it was about on the field stuff, you could make a case Travis Kelce's the best at his position. If it's about off the field stuff, you could also he's the guy moving the needle the most right now.
tell you, though,
Put the two of them together, it's an automatic
I'm gonna tell
win.
you though, Sports Illustrated isn't taking Taylor Swift into account. I'm just telling you that they're not, and and I think that's kind of why they're gonna. I think they didn't do Travis Kelce because of Taylor Swift, because they're gonna be like, we're not gonna give it to some guy because of his dating life.
That's accurate.
I think that
might be part of it. There are some examples of people that did not win a championship. Cal Ripken Jr. in '95 when he broke Lou Gehrig's record. McGuire and Sosa when they broke the home run record. They did not win a championship. Still won.
They move the needle off the field.
Yeah, Dean Smith has gotten it. John Shula has gotten it. Joe Paterno got it.
Oh God,
What year?
86.
Jesus,
not good.
scumbag.
Take it back.
Take it back.
Did you see that?
You have Brad up?
LeBron's won twice, by the way, already. In his career.
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't
Like
lean
almost
on it
every
3
year.
times.
Oh, no, I lied. He won it 3 times. He won it the COVID year. They had a 5-way tie for the COVID year.
Yeah, sorry. Also, just really quick, did you see the wall of shame that Time Person of the Year had, or the 30 under 30? Forbes has a wall of shame for anybody that was on the 30 under 30, like Sam Bank-Friedman, Martin Shkreli, all these people. So they had a wall of shame. For Sportsman of the Year, they should also have a wall of shame, and they should put Joe Pa number 1.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Pete Rose, you could put him in there, too.
It was a
Your wall of shame.
It was a book. It was one of the guys who was on Pardon My Take at some point, and it's whoever wrote Freezing Cold Takes, and they look back in the last 10 years, and it's one of those things like the Patriots dynasty or this quarterback's gonna be better, and they just expose guys looking back. It's an interesting thing. All right, Thursday, usual spot, championship weekend. We're gonna get you on for the Bulls with last regular season of the year, unless you want to do 45 minutes next week on Army Navy, Brad, which I would enjoy, because only you can do that. But last spot of the season, championship weekend. There is a lot to unpack in terms of the nightmare type of scenarios. I think we could play all those out. We've done it forever. We've done it with you. But you've now had, Dukes, if you could pull up that image I sent too. You're quoting a lot of people. You're rebutting a lot of people in terms of the argument of the most deserving 4 against the best 4 in terms of the playoff. How does that differ, and which side do you think the committee will take, the most deserving or the best 4? Where does it differ, and what do you really think the committee should do when it comes down to it? Because you're a Vegas guy with the power rankings. So do you think it should be the teams that would be favored the most on a neutral field, or do you think because Florida State won all their games, there's nothing more they can do, they get to go?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, that's for later. Sorry, I should have sent that one.
obviously when you look at it, I mean, it's always been, and they can say whatever they want. 4 best teams. I know Bill Hancock said, "Hey, it's our job. It's the committee's job to get the 4 best teams in there." That's never been the case. Never. Because I mean, lots of years, best teams might have 2 losses. I mean, Alabama would make it every year. Georgia would make it every year. Ohio State would make it most seasons. So no, it's not the best teams. It's most deserving, and it should be most deserving. These games shouldn't matter. So do I personally want to see Florida State in the playoff? No, but if they're 13-0. I mean, come on, you're gonna tell those kids because their quarterback got hurt? Oh, you can't go. You're 13-0. You won every game, but your quarterback got hurt. You can't get in. You're the first team ever to be an undefeated conference Power 5 champ. You're not gonna go. I'm not buying that. That's what they're gonna do. Now, best teams, obviously Georgia, Oregon, Michigan. If Alabama were to beat Georgia, Alabama would be one of the 4. You can make a case maybe Ohio State's in the mix. I would say a combination of best and deserving, Texas would be in the mix there. As a college football fan, if you want best brands, best teams, most deserving, I think this is what you're rooting for. You're rooting for all the favorites to win this week, with the exception of Florida State. You want Louisville to beat them. Get Florida State out of there. Because if all the favorites win this week, you're going to have a semifinal like this. You're going to have Texas versus Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, 1 versus 4. And then for the final time, you're going to get an old school Pac-12 champ versus Big Ten champ in the Rose Bowl, Oregon versus Michigan. I'm here to tell you that spread's going to be like pick 'em. That'd be one of the best semifinal matchups we've ever had.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing. But I also saw your tweet. Basically, people would want LSU, it'd be like LSU against Florida State in a neutral site. LSU would be favored, and they have 3 losses, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go best teams, I mean, everyone's talking Florida State. Washington's not one of the 4 best teams. They can beat Oregon. They still wouldn't be one of the 4 best teams. And even though they'd be 13-0, you got to leave out Washington because you want to get the 4 best teams in there.
Right.
LSU would be favored over Washington. Notre Dame with 3 losses would be favored over Washington. And if you don't believe me, just look at the point spread this week. Oh, Washington beat Oregon. They're almost a double-digit underdog this week against the Ducks.
It's crazy. And also, I'm going to get right into this game.
Well, give me one. I want to just catch that. So it's weird because you're a numbers guy, you're always a Vegas guy, and you know all those lines and stuff like that. But you're a diehard college football fan, and that's where I like to think I sit. Like, yeah, I respect all that, and I get how if you ask me who the best teams are, like LSU would be favored over Washington, and yes, Ohio State probably goes in over Florida State because they're not the best 4. But something to me, I like the fact that we honor the 12 games that we've played. Like, why not at a certain point then, why not just let them play all exhibition games and let Vegas decide who the 4 is? You do, when, gun to head at the end of the day, you like that it is the most deserving 4 teams going in off a res. Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. Because I think some of these guys get so, convoluted. They're like, no, it shouldn't be the 4 most deserving because Alabama would be a 13-point favorite against Washington and this and that. It's like, yeah, but Alabama lost to Texas, too. So, why do we watch the fucking games?
Just because fans like us are like, and everyone's like, we don't want to watch Florida State without Jordan Travis. That's just what it is. And it's not fair to them. If they put a backup quarterback that went to the swamp and won and then beats Louisville in the championship, why don't they deserve it? I get it. I don't want to see them either. I'd rather Alabama. I'd rather Ohio State. But they deserve it. Put them in. That's what I do agree with you. I hate the neutral site Bama
every time. Yeah, it's your guys, but I hate when they do that. And Saban gets out there, tell me who we'd be favored against. Well, Nick, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you did lose to Texas at home. Either then schedule cupcakes, which is going to suck, or man up, man. You lost the same way, So that's where I divide. What game did you want to get into?
Know everyone and their mother. And I got 30-1, but everyone and their mother's like, Georgia's definitely winning this game. Is it that clear cut to you?
No, I mean, I bet Georgia at an earlier number just because I'm playing. That's my job is to bet numbers, but I don't think it's a slam dunk. I mean, I don't like what I'm seeing from Georgia's defense right now. I mean, the last 4 games, they're allowing 166 rushing yards per game. Doesn't sound like much, but that's almost 3x what they're accustomed to allowing at Georgia the last few seasons. So that would worry me. Obviously, Alabama's playing with a lot of confidence, especially on the offensive side of the ball. No, I don't expect Georgia blowout or anything like that. I think it's a competitive one-score game. I like the over in the game.
We're just as fans, everyone's very recency biased, right? So like everyone's saying, "Oh, Alabama could barely beat Auburn, like beat them by 30 yards."
Georgia barely beat Georgia Tech.
That's what I said, but everyone's like, "Oh, whatever." I'm like, they went into Auburn and like some fuck shit happens there. Some crazy shit always happens. Auburn could be 1-10. That game's gonna be good. It doesn't matter. But like everyone's like, "Oh, now Alabama's no chance." I'm like, it's 6.5 points. It's not like a crazy spread either. Like
They're also immature kids. It's a natural look ahead.
just what happens.
The term look ahead spot, like
and
that
the
shit
whole media's
exists.
talking, "Oh, if you beat Georgia, you're in." Like they're also, if they beat Georgia, it's like definitely in, right?
Alabama definitely in. Yeah, I would think so, but I don't know if you have that. If it does come down to them in Texas, I mean, I think it would be a travesty to leave Texas out and put Alabama in. I really would.
So with that, let me just. It's Florida State wins.
Michigan wins.
Michigan wins.
Either Pac-12 wins.
Yeah, either Pac-12 wins and Texas wins and Alabama wins, and then you're like thinking, is Georgia
Oh my
get
God,
in?
that's the nightmare scenario.
Yeah, that's not, because then Georgia with one loss, do they get in? Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think they would fuck Texas out?
They're certainly one of the 4 best teams.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
Georgia,
definitely
but
are.
you're not a conference champ. You lost to Alabama. Alabama's got the head-to-head. Texas got the head-to-head over Alabama. You would hope Texas is in, but I have no idea. They're not going to probably leave out the SEC champ. So that would be our first really big-time legitimate multiple teams that deserve to be in the playoff being left out.
And they ain't doing it. They ain't doing it to Iowa State, who went and beat Alabama. They are doing it to name brand Texas, a fan base that is
easy to do it to a Cincinnati.
active on social, gives a fuck. Yes.
That would be. I'm rooting for chaos. I'm not rooting for for this like easy ones. Kid, I want everyone
full blown chaos.
I want Texas to lose their minds, because think about Alabama getting in over Texas, of a team
when
that
they
beat
lost
them,
at
and
home.
they won the Big 12 championship. Like that would be one of the craziest college football stories.
I said it should be on pay-per-view, Brad. The selection committee room, you could pay. I would pay.
To see these people, I don't know. I'd be underwhelmed probably.
Yeah, we'd be like, these guys are fucking morons.
Yeah, they are. I will laugh at this. Have you ever seen their setup apparently on Championship Saturday? They're in like a conference room of a hotel, sitting there like a team watching film, and there's TVs on like picnic tables. It's a shitbag setup.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys, and Joe Schmo's probably got a better setup, and you guys have a better setup. I probably have a better setup here.
But I do want to watch the deliberation. I do want to see.
I wouldn't hate if it got to a Friday Night Lights thing, and it's Nick Saban just doing a little flip of the coin to see who gets in.
If it came down to that would be unbelievable.
Crazy. I'd pay for pay-per-view for that.
That would be unbelievable. There are a lot of games to touch on. Let's dive into the big one, Georgia, Alabama, which he kind of touched on. Or I shouldn't say dive into it, because you're playing Georgia. But one last thing off of that, you're very big with situational stuff or history. You got to go back, 12 years to find Saban being a dog more than a handful of times. How has he been in these rare spots as a dog against the spread?
Yeah, last 12 years it's only happened. This will be the 4th time. So we only have 3 games of data. He's 2-1 straight up and against the spread. All previous 3 times, all against Georgia. The time he lost, obviously, was the last time these 2 teams played for the national championship. And even then, they might have been the right side. They get a wide receiver injury. Yep. The better team in the first half. Georgia scores late to get ahead. So he's been good. It just hasn't happened much. And traditionally you want to play on him in that outlier role, the old rat poison type thing. So I was hoping to get a 7, never got there.
Okay. I saw this floating around. I pulled up the wrong image at first. Michigan, Iowa. Michigan's laying 21.5 now, 22.5.
Yeah.
2.5 you're saying?
22, yeah.
Total is 34.5. There is something you've been quoted on here with a big spread and a short total. Can you break that down for the dummies like us on there? Dukes, if you could pull that image up.
Yeah, so, just generally speaking, my thought process when I see something like that, well, how often has it happened? And my thought process is when you got a big favorite and a really low total, I'm guessing that the big favorite doesn't do well because there's such a limited close window to cover a point spread in those situations. So the big picture, you want a big sample size. So I just did a 40 or less total, favorite of 10 or more. The favorite's only 43% against the spread. Tightening it up to this situation where we have a total of 37 or less and a favorite of 3 touchdowns or more. It's only happened 13 times in college football since 1980. Favorite hasn't done well, 2-11, 14% against the spread, falling short by 11 points per game. So what does it all mean? It means that, trends are saying Iowa here. With that being said, have I bet Iowa this week? No, I can't get there because, I mean, I know it's a bad spot for Michigan. They're out the big game. They were in this spot 2 years ago against Iowa, won 42-3, and that was a better Iowa team. I've only seen Iowa play one legit team this year. That was Penn State, lost 31-0. So do I think Iowa's the right side? Yeah, they took money yesterday. Did I bet it? No. I mean, we're talking about the worst offense in college football. Legitimately, that's not an opinion. They are dead last in total offense in college football. Historically, teams that are dead last in college football win 3.5 games on average. They somehow won 10. I mean, they defy logic.
That's what I'm saying. Like this, I almost wish they were like they won almost every game. So we're talking about a team. Imagine them being Florida State right now, and like where they can't score shit. Like their over/under is a half in the first half.
I guess that's my question, Brad. So is the play the over here then?
Oh man,
like I don't like.
Well, I mean, if you've been playing Iowa unders, overs the last 2 years, you're like 4-20. So no, I'm not playing the over in an Iowa game.
So you're saying the play is Michigan then?
No,
he said.
Oh my! You're putting a gun. I'll give you a play. Best bet Boise State. There, if you want to play Boise State minus 2.5. Well, in this game, the best play is to sit down and if you're glutton for punishment, maybe watch the game. No, I love college football. I'd rather watch a movie than this game.
I mean, those stats are wild. Those stats scream, like you said, scream Iowa here.
Well, he's saying the stats scream Iowa. But I'll give him this. Dude, you pull that down if you want. The other thing, I don't think Michigan's going to show much of a playbook. Now, they could still win 28-0 without fucking blinking. But Michigan is in a spot now where they don't need to blow Iowa out. They're in win or loss, in my eyes, in the playoff. Win or loss.
I think Iowa's the sharp side. I haven't bet it yet.
But he's saying Iowa's so fucking ugly, you can't bet Iowa. So,
Brad, I have one question. It's about the team total. First half is half a point.
Yes.
I don't want to take it. I'm not like one of those trendy betting guys, but I feel like I have to, out of principle, that I can lose $50 on it.
I want to be part of history.
I want to be a part of history. And second off, I do think there's a part of me that's like, yes, Michigan could blow the doors off them, but there's a part of me that's like, J.J. McCarthy could throw a pick to this good Iowa defense. Or they could fumble the ball. Football mistakes happen. That could be a field goal right there.
Yeah.
Just need one.
I would bet over a half.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's at even.
That's
even
crazy.
It's
That's
like we're talking about fucking soccer.
Yeah,
it's at even money.
It's crazy.
First of all, LSU. Oh, what a 2-point conversion! Stop right there. And
we needed that. That was a tough one.
That one was a tough one. It was the right side.
I thought it was dead.
I thought they were
gonna lose outright.
I thought it was dead so many times because every time the LSU get back in, they would just go down and score. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? But what a bet. Oklahoma State, Texas. Huge spread, 15.5.
Undy, good coach.
I think Oklahoma State just spoiled Oklahoma getting in because of their late game against, what was it, BYU?
Yep.
And then now they can spoil Texas. Like, they are ranked 18th. I know they haven't looked great. Like, I think it's just way too big of a spread to take Texas.
But is it so big a spread that that's the public thinking and Oklahoma State becomes a dog with fleas?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm at. I'm like, Oklahoma. I thought this line was going to be 7. Yeah. So, why? What are you thinking in this one? Because I do think Oklahoma State's the right side, but I'm a dummy, so that's where I'm at.
I bet Texas. I'm part of the Texas money. Would I lay it now? No. I just thought I thought the line was going to at least 2 touchdowns, if not past it. Keep in mind, Texas needs margin of victory. They do. They have no idea what's happening. This is the early game. They have no idea what's going to happen in the afternoon and at night. So it honestly comes down to this. What Oklahoma State team is showing up? I don't even think Mike Gundy knows. I mean, in September, this team was terrible. October, they were great. Hell, they're losing by 42 to UCF. They're down double digits in the first half to Houston, down double digits to BYU. They rally and beat both teams in that game. They beat Oklahoma. I have no idea what this team is. So here's what I played, what I prefer right now. I like the over. If you think Oklahoma State's the side, to me, Gordon's going to get going. They'll take advantage of Texas's offense. Texas is going to have to press a little bit then. I just like the over here and not forget, at 15, I see your temptation to take Gundy. I think they're a bad football team.
Yeah, sometimes I just get into I like when teams can spoil, because obviously Texas has way more to play for. And it's like winning a Big 12 championship spoiled, but I get it. You can bet that game, Oklahoma State. 6 minutes in, you're like, all right, well, I got the wrong Oklahoma State
loser.
in this game.
Yeah. We'll give you the last big one, and then we'll touch back on that best bet. Oregon minus 9.5 against Washington. This one, I think, jumped out to a lot of people, too. Now, if you watched Oregon-Washington, Oregon left a lot of points on the board. Dan Lanning kept grabbing his nuts, going for those choices. May have cost them the game in terms of those decisions. But we also could have a flip here that Washington wouldn't be undefeated, Oregon would be undefeated. So at that, and if when Oregon beats them, the 9.5 wouldn't shock you in this championship game for Oregon to be laying it. So Oregon, it seemed like, came out of that was the better team. Big line here with the 9.5. What would you play? I like the under.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm surprised you like the under there.
Well, I thought they left a lot of points in that first game where they were there, but they barely went over that number. I do think Oregon's defense has gotten better, and I think Washington's offense has not looked as dynamic as it did early in the year when Penix was a runaway Heisman. They're going berserk, this and that. I do think Oregon can lean on them a little bit here. I like the under.
Yeah, I totally agree with that handicap. Couldn't have said it better myself. I think Oregon's the right side too, to be honest with you. It just bothers me. Price bothers me. I mean, 10 years ago, the market is not sharp enough to make this a 9.5 point spread. So that hurts me a little bit. I think this number is like 10 years ago in a matchup like this, or maybe even less.
I say like 5.
Something's wrong with Penix. I mean, first 6 games, he deserved to be the Heisman favorite, 72%, 20 touchdowns, 3 picks. Since then, less than 60% completions. He's down 100 yards per game less in the last 6 weeks. I don't know. He doesn't look right. I think Oregon's a legit top 2-3 team in the country. I think they win by 10 to 14.
Well, I'll give you one final thing off of that too. So you touched on style points with Texas, that they don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I root for the Ducks. I've told that story a bunch of times. Like Joey Harrington was on. We were moving into a house late at night, kind of fell in love with the crazy uniforms, this and that. I like Oregon. I don't think Oregon thinks that there is a lock for sure that they're in. Now, I do think they're one of the best 4. I think their resume is insane. I think they deserve to go. But you're saying Texas playing in an early game at 12 o'clock Saturday. Yeah. They could lean on Oklahoma State. Could Oregon be playing for fucking style points here Friday night? That is very
they got
much
a young
in
coach that
consideration.
wouldn't be afraid to do it.
I leave no doubt.
I certainly think
leave
if
no
given
doubt.
the opportunity, they'll go for it.
I actually, Brad, do you think what Rico's saying, Oregon gets fucked in the situation where Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, Texas win, and Oregon wins? Don't you think Oregon kind of gets fucked? They put Texas in over Oregon?
Nah, I mean, the thing with them, I get it. Texas still has that win over Alabama, but Oregon gets to avenge their loss, where Texas didn't have that opportunity to avenge their loss against Oklahoma. So I think Oregon's in. But I hear you. I mean, they don't like the Pac-12, obviously.
That's the only reason I'm saying it. It's just because Texas obviously is the bigger name and literally the biggest name technically. So
I don't think so, because the last data point is a win over number 3 Washington. Last data point for Texas is a 9-3 Oklahoma State team.
It's true. Also with Heisman, Bo Nix balls out, wins this game. It's got to be him, right? Just because.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. So if you don't want to lay the minus 400 money line on Oregon or bet them minus 9.5 against the spread, but you think they're going to win, if they're going to win, obviously you think Bo Nix is going to play well. And if he plays well, why not just lay minus 160, minus 170 for him to win the Heisman?
That's
if you're looking for prices and you're not wanting to lay too much, that would be the bet to make.
Very good point.
That's a good point. All right, so you touched on best bet, Boise minus the 2.5. I agree with you. I was ready to write.
Oh, no.
No. No, don't say oh no. First off, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the Pat Hill standings. I was 10 games below 500, and now I'm like 8 over 500. So
All right.
we turned things around. 51%.
Did you count 10 units on Kansas State, or does that count just as
yes.
one?
No, yes. Well, all right.
Oh, that didn't.
Straight up percentage, I'm at about 51%. Yeah, units are a little below. But even with that, I took a bath on Kansas State. I won everything else that week. So, we're doing well. Arizona State over last week, done in the third quarter. So we've been cutting down the list. That's what the problem. I used to DM you. I'd be like, Brad, here's my card, and it's 22 plays. We cut that.
You did like 10 years. I gotta give you credit, man. I used to DM me that stuff like a decade ago. I like that.
I had the newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day.
You would write up all these games and send me that stuff.
Networking.
I liked it. You were very persistent with me. I like that.
Networking. I've worked harder on you than I have my wife. No, I got to get in with my guys.
Jeez.
Pause.
I said
Yeah.
it is what it is. There is something with Boise, I think. I thought, the magic is out there, like it's done on the blue turf. It doesn't seem like Boise's as captivating. When was the last time the general public got excited about Boise? But here we are, write them off, and you look back, they're in the championship game with an interim coach, and they've changed quarterbacks in the last couple of years. I think they've righted they've fixed the ship. I think Boise's the right side here. UNLV is very good, but I do agree with you. I like Boise minus the 2.5. Why do you like them?
Yeah, similar handicap. I mean, it was addition by subtraction firing the coach. Don't believe me. They had their leading wide receiver quit the team, and as soon as they fired the coach, he wanted back on the team. They didn't allow him back on the team, but that said something to me that, oh, wow. I mean, maybe the coach was a problem. They're healthier at running back. They got 1-2 punch, Genty and Halani. Taylor Green, the quarterback, he's a good running quarterback. He just can't throw the interception. He threw 2 bad ones last week, but they still won and covered against Air Force fairly. I think UNLV's kind of, great story, but they've hit that level where they just the magic comes to an end. It kind of came to an end last week when San Jose State humbled them at home. And I just think Boise State's 7-5. You're thinking, they're not that good. They lost on a Hail Mary to Colorado State. They lost on a last-second field goal against UCF. They had a blocked field goal return for a touchdown against them against Memphis. They had a 100-yard kickoff return touchdown against them against Fresno on the last play of a first half. You never see anything like that. They were just a very unfortunate team that led to those 5 losses. I'm treating them more like a 9 or 10 win team.
Okay. Any outright dogs in the undercard of championship weekend that you could see pulling an upset? Miami of Ohio, New Mexico State. There's some juice on the bone here with SMU. I kind of like App State. They're 6 points, 3 points, 11 points, 8 points. If you're playing an outright dog on championship weekend to close this out, which one do you like?
Probably SMU, believe it or not. Even though they have the backup quarterback. I mean, SMU is going to be like game of the year material. That's how much I was lining up to like them this week. Even with the backup quarterback, I think they're live against Tulane, who I think is a little overrated. SMU statistically top 10 in yards per play margin, yards per game margin, points per game margin. Statistically, they are by far the best group of 5 team in the country.
Yeah, the offense looks great recently, So
yeah, defense is good, and they're a bunch of. You go through their starting lineup, it's a bunch of Power 5 transfers from like Miami, Stanford, all over. I mean, they have Power 5 talent.
Yeah. All right, Brad, it's been a great year. You do a million hits. I know you're preparing and stuff like that. We appreciate you giving us this time all year. I think the fans have liked it.
We're not done with them, right?
What?
We're not done with them, right?
Yeah, one and done, one and out.
No. I mean, like
No, we'll have a bowl.
Playoffs and bowls.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my God.
100%. But this is the regular season.
He was like lining me up like he's gonna put me behind the wood and shoot me like old
We
Yeller.
will very much do a bowl reaction, but next week's Army Navy.
Oh, that's fine.
It'll be a few weeks before we hit them back up. So yeah,
goodbye to him yet.
you grease them up then,
Always.
But yeah, we will get you back on at one point. But it's been a great year.
Have you? I've told you this, right? That I have been taking your bets and pretending they're mine to my father-in-law, and he thinks I'm the smartest guy of all time. Like he's like, "You are sharp." I said, "Yeah, I know. Thank you." And it's the best thing in the world. So thank you for that.
That's just my job. Thank you, guys. I've enjoyed them.
It's been a great year. So next time you're in New York, let us know. We'll take you out. But thank you again, Brad. Great year, and good luck this week on championship weekend.
Right back at you guys. Take care. Go Boise.
Brad.
I just love the dimly lit office at all
The first time I ever saw him, I was like, that's who we need. That's a gambling guy. You don't.
I had known what he looked like. Yeah, but
Glasses
he's the best.
Are
He's
perfect. He has a different. If you realize he has a different hat on every week of a different college.
Yeah.
And the blinds are the best.
He's the best.
Before we end though, let's do a little college basketball.
That I texted Dave because he tweeted out with about 3 minutes last night.
Duke.
That Duke looked great for 2 minutes to hit that over. I don't know if you were following along.
Oh, yeah.
It was
The entire game.
dead.
They, Arkansas, first of all, does not know how to break a full court press. Duke turned them over. If Duke hits 1-3 there, they could almost win the game. Duke was about 16 of. I also said this before the game. I said I said I didn't like really betting them. I bet them every time, but I said that yesterday.
You did.
Arkansas was like in a desperate spot. They're 4-3. Everyone, they're still a good team. They didn't have their best player, which is even more impressive than being Duke. They were 16, I think, of 34 on layups. Duke.
Ooh.
That's a problem, and they just didn't have. It looked like Arkansas wanted it more. Tough environment to play, but Duke, no excuses. They fucking did not play well. They just need to figure out their rotation. Did you see TJ Power?
Who's that?
The guy for Duke. He wears a wristband, like actually
yeah,
has a
yeah.
wristband. He was like 2 of 2 from 3 yesterday. Like
I know Proctor played really bad.
Proctor played horrible. Like they also don't they don't have their rotation yet.
I think the narrative, yes. I do think the overall narrative this year for college so far, and it's maybe because Feast Week to a degree I felt like slowed down after the Maui. Like, I didn't really think that there was a lot of massive games on that Saturday and Sunday.
I thought Battle for Atlantis was great.
Battle for Atlantis was pretty good, yeah.
Arkansas going to double OT with Stanford.
Yes.
That game
but
was
Stanford's not like lights out.
That game was fucking insane.
Awesome. It was really good, but Stanford's
I was
not
drinking during that, so I forgot about that. But now that it's come
I had
back,
Arkansas
that might have
-4,
been the best game of the weekend.
But Stanford's not a world beater.
Still,
you know what I'm saying?
but really good
that's an
call.
ACC school we're talking about.
I don't know if we know how many elite teams we have yet. And it's only a couple weeks in, so it's natural.
I think that that's why college basketball is the best right now, is because of like how old everybody is, and like there's teams like FAU's still really good, which is nice to see. Like just like Kansas is also really good, but they're not definitely the best team. Purdue obviously looks like the best team right now, but we all know what happens in March with them. So I'm never going to take them for what they are. Like there's so many teams. UConn, Kansas tomorrow is going to be fucking insane.
Yeah.
That's an awesome.
There's some good ones really coming up in the next couple weeks.
And also, Billis was saying yesterday, too, you were right.
I was waiting to see when you were going to bring that up.
I actually agree, though. You're right. Like I don't think I ever disagree.
Schedule's
with that
flawed.
But you've
Schedule's
said that
flawed.
quite some time. Having these out-of-conference games, like the Big 12 or the SEC, ACC has been awesome. Awesome. Why not move this into February? I agree with you. I really do. I don't need to see Duke versus Georgia Tech. I don't. I think it'd be a great time. Your team sucks right now, too. Doesn't suck. The same thing as
Great offense, struggling on defense. Young team, a lot of turnover, lost 2 first-rounders. So,
well, I was also telling you this. Like you get like Estrada and Grant Nelson from teams that historically don't play defense, and you got to teach them defense.
Gonna take a little while. Yeah.
Like their offense being good is not surprising.
The last thing about Duke is that we don't have a huge presence down low. And Filipowski is not the guy who's going to be the 5, and that's right.
I think that's Bama's problem as well.
We need
that Bediako left for a 2-way. He would have been lights out on this team. So
we just need to figure out our offense that is not going to be crashing the boards a lot, because Trevor Brazile just like blocked every single one, and also L. Ellis decided to play basketball again last night out of nowhere. So
the other final game,
Bud Walton though, crazy.
It's nuts.
I was supposed to be there, but
can I shout out a conference?
Yeah.
The A10. The A10 last night.
Yeah, fucking St. Joe's is like
dead
good.
in the water. So St. Joe's.
I said that. Didn't I tell you that?
For what?
I said take St. Joe's yesterday
Against Nova.
I didn't know who to take.
That's a big rivalry.
I know their guard play for St. Joe's was elite. I didn't know if I should take them. They played well with Kentucky. Nova just won Battle for Atlantis. They looked good. They just blew out Memphis. Like it was such a weird game. I didn't take it. And then I saw St. Joe's big man, the freshman, who was originally committed to Providence. He was out. So I was like, oh, St. Joe's is dead in the water.
No, St. Joe. Yeah, they're doing well.
Beat Villanova pretty fucking handily.
It's also-
that guard play, that defense is good. They're good. Richmond lost last night, but I still think they're a solid team. Dayton beat SMU. That the A10 is firmly, in my opinion, back on the seat to be a 2 to 3 bid.
St. Louis had a tough loss though. Who'd
They're
St.
not
Louis
gonna be
lose
top,
to?
like, Duquesne's really
Who'd St.
good.
Louis lose to?
I don't know.
Utah State.
I also like those games of like St. Joe's, like in the Philly shit, like that's their Super Bowl.
Oh, big
12 and a
time. Yeah,
half
yeah, yeah.
points. You like that's the biggest game of their season. They won that, so that they're like that's gonna help them a ton. Like you take that.
It's so funny that Marty, really quick, going off that, they took Kentucky to overtime.
Yeah.
And they lose to Texas A&M Commerce, and then they win by like 8 to Sacred Heart. They play these really good. Like, this is what's going to kill them, in my opinion, is they'll play Dayton down to the wire. Right. They'll play all the good A10 teams down the wire, and then they'll drop one to Fordham, who fucking blows, and fuck that fan base.
Yeah.
Virginia was so easy last night.
So easy.
I'll give one last
UNC
one too.
was-
The kid Connect from Tennessee was pretty. He was getting blown out, but that was pretty impressive.
Oh, Dalton, yeah,
Connect.
37.
Tennessee.
Is he gonna be okay?
Carolina might be good. We'll find out with them in the
I'm
Jimmy
not
V. They get UConn in a
Tennessee
couple
might
weeks.
be one of the
or a week.
most weirdest. I would hate to be a Tennessee fan. Hate.
Yeah, because you're good during the year, and then you have Rick Barnes.
Like, they're just-
but they lost this, so it is what it is. But all right, plays tonight. Clemmer, what are you on?
Yeah, I have
Was you out for
Seattle.
about a half hour? Sorry.
Seattle +9. I'm on the under, and I'm riding with Marty that Brandon Cooks over receptions.
All right, I'll go Geno Smith under passing attempts. I'll do over 2.5 Dax touchdowns. And give me – what was the game I liked tonight? You know what? Oh, I can't get that team right.
What are you doing?
You know what? Utah minus 11.5 against Hawaii. I think Dave's convinced me that they're bad. They might not be that bad because they blew out St. Mary's.
I watched the game that he bet on. He's usually a little over. He was not. That team was one of the worst teams I've ever seen play that day. But
Right. It was just a bad day, so it is what it is. I don't think they're that bad. I'll take Utah minus the 11.5 against Hawaii. What do you got to close this out?
I'm going Creighton minus 7.5, a bounce back after getting blown out by Colorado State. That was awful, and Oklahoma State's not that good. And then I'm going Cowboys. Is it 9? I'm gonna take whatever I get home, so I don't know what it.
It keeps going back and forth between 8.5 and 9. I got it at 9.
So I'll say 9, and then I'm gonna go Brandon Cooks over 3.5 receptions, and then I'm gonna go what's the tight end's name?
Oh, the
Ferguson.
Ferguson touchdown. Also, my Greg Olson this weekend.
Oh, who do you're already targeting it?
It's I looked at the announcing schedule. It is 49ers Eagles, so we get Kittle, and then I don't know if Goddard's playing yet.
Okay.
If it's not, it's what's his fucking name? That's where it's like Smitty texted me his name yesterday. Fuck, I texted a lot of people yesterday. The fuck? What's the fucking backup's name?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Do you play both of them?
Jack Stoll.
You play both of them?
Play both of them.
And you've hit on a good majority of both, or the fact that the one pays out 3.5?
It's like mostly both.
Mostly both?
It's insane.
I like it.
Marty.
But you hit one, it's
Yeah.
already hitting both. So
I wanted to hear your point on this because we don't talk ball too much. What was your point on UNC? Because I think this might. I saw a clip from an enemy of yours, but I thought it was a good point. I think this is the best roster. Like, I don't think Hubert Davis is getting enough flowers for the construction of this team. I think that UNC offensively to put up 100 on Tennessee and make it like pretty flawless. Like they went to overtime and lost to a pretty good Villanova team. I know they have like 2 bad losses, but a pretty good Villanova team. I think that Cadeau is one of the best point guards in the nation, passing wise at least. I don't know the last point guard that they've had like this.
So if I'm going to take my bias pants off, they're definitely good. Baycott being back is also just like nice to have there.
Ingram.
RJ Davis is my problem. I think that he's a home run or miss, to be honest. The one guy that really fucking I think's going to make some big shots is Cormac Ryan.
Yeah.
I think Cormac Ryan is going to be a guy that just really it does put them over on their shooting because they're shooting the past couple like R.J. Davis and Caleb Love, to be honest, just weren't working together last year. I think that story was true. I think that
And have all those egos. You have
Egos
R.J.
were a lot.
Davis, Caleb Love, or Baycott all come back with huge egos from a Final Four run. Especially Caleb Love, how he streaky he get. But yeah, I think
that they
UNC is
also got humbled last year. I think they got humbled, and I think that was like, okay, we are not just going to deserve these wins. I think they all are meshing better now. Yeah, I think they're definitely. I don't think that they're like top 5 right now, but I do think they're a good team. Who is the enemy?
good. One of the people that made fun of us last year.
Oh, I couldn't. Even if you said their name, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. And also my plays tonight are Chicago State.
You fucking love Chicago
minus
State.
3.5. I know. I took a Chicago State versus over, and it went over by 50 points. So Chicago State minus 3.5 against Delaware State. Delaware State's that bad.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Delaware State's that bad.
Duke's, but
3
Well,
unit
of course
play
not.
coming up.
Imagine Duke's
Butler
getting
minus
home
2.5.
fucking.
You like Butler?
Butler minus 2.5 against Texas Tech. Dude, people just forget that Thad Mott is a good coach. Thad Mott is a great coach. Butler minus 2.5 against Texas Tech.
Isn't the guy from St. John's on Butler?
Yes, Posh Alexander.
That's wild.
Yeah, like you would. That's just a team.
That's where
know.
you
Yes.
think you know enough, and then you drop that on me, and I'm like,
That's what I'm saying. And that's why I don't get mad at anyone that because
It's
all
just a
people
million.
are hardos that you don't know. You didn't know that. It's like, dude, no, I didn't know.
Yeah,
Posh Alexander went to
that's
Butler.
tough. So, all right, that's Pick Central, Barstool Radio, rocking now. We'll see you tomorrow for Football Friday.